This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain. Well, it's been a tough year for the hundreds of displaced workers at the idled Come By Chance oil refinery, and that's casting a shadow over this year's holiday season. The refinery hasn't produced any fuel since late March. That's when the owners decided to idle the operation because of the pandemic, and it's been a series of miserable twists and turns ever since for the workers. Various deals to sell the refinery have crumbled at the last minute, or the owners have rejected different proposals. Most of the workers remain jobless and uncertain about what the future will bring, while others have moved away for work.
A lot of big changes came for me this year. Went from being home every night with a good paying job to being across the country for even less. I had a tough decision to make. Do I stay home and wait with the uncertainty and have a small Christmas with my kids, or do I take this job and watch my kids' Christmas through an iPhone? It was a very tough call to make, but I still feel with the uncertainty I made the right one. I have a good job here. I mean, I should be celebrating, but no, I'm not. I'm on two minds with it because it's such a tough decision to make, and I'm really giving up Christmas with my family to do this. I'm giving up a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to buy back.
And depending on what happens at the refinery, Larry Eddy says he may be forced to relocate his entire family to Alberta. And if the refinery doesn't reopen, Eddy says many other people will face the same difficult choice about whether to leave home to find work. Well, a little gift from public health on this Christmas Eve. No new cases of COVID to report in the province today, but officials do have their own Christmas wish list. And that's 20 for 2020. Public health is recommending that people socialize with the same 20 friends and family members over the holidays. They say not to host more than 20 people in your home at a time, and that's only if there's enough room for physical distancing to happen. There are now 21 active cases of COVID-19 in Newfoundland and Labrador, with one person in hospital.
Well, it was an absolutely beautiful Christmas Eve day today. Take a look at the daytime highs this afternoon. Sitting around 1 degree for St. John's, temperature around 2 in Badger, -1 in Corner Brook. Then we've got those temperatures well below zero. Happy Valley Goose Bay right now sitting at -12. That isn't going to last long. Temperatures will be on the rise as we head through the overnight tonight. We do have an area of high pressure dominating the island, but that low pressure system moving in, bringing in some warm temperatures for the island as we head into Christmas Day. So you certainly aren't going to need your snow blowers in St. John's, but reporter Cease Hare is adding a new noise to Christmas 2020.
Sometimes you just want to do something just so that you can say you did it. So here we are. It's Christmas 2020, the perfect time for this. If you're dreaming of a white Christmas in 2020 on the East Coast, dream on. This time last year, we had snow, lots of it. December 2019, the plows were plowing, shovels shoveling, and slides sliding. It would be nice to have a traditional white Christmas, and it would be nice to go to a Christmas party with all the friends and not have to worry about that other thing that has turned our world upside down. But it's 2020. Goodbye, 2020. 2020 has been weird enough, so why not start a new tradition and start the mower? Cease here, CBC News, St. John's.
Cecil here, the only man on the planet who can pull off sandals and socks, especially this time of year. Well, as you just saw, we've certainly got the weather for a nice stroll, whether or not you're in sandals. At least in St. John's, the Chief Medical Officer of Health is encouraging people to enjoy the outdoors this winter. And the City of St. John's and Music NL have found a way to help you over the holidays by bringing local music to the walking trails.
Well, it's the holiday trail mix, and it sounds just like it is. It's a mix of Newfoundland musicians singing and their songs and their favorite songs at Christmas. And we have it from December 22nd to January 4th. And it's along some of the parts of the Grand Concourse, but also along our trails. And you can just listen on your smartphone and have your ear listen to the music as you walk along, which I think is awesome. It's also bringing you outside to nature, to enjoy nature and our winter wonderland that we have. You look at all the people walking here today. Doesn't hurt also the great weather we're having too. So fingers crossed the weather will stay along, and not only are you just walking along the trail, but you're also carrying along the local musicians with you and listening to their beautiful sounds in your ears.
It was a no-brainer. It was a perfect fit for us. We were so excited. Of course, our job is to promote local Newfoundland and Labrador musicians to the world and to our own province. So it was a win-win, a holiday trail mix, exercise, listening to the local holiday music. We're super excited, and I want to throw out a challenge today if I can, because it's online and you can get the playlist, musicnl.ca. I'm challenging every single municipality in Newfoundland and Labrador to share this playlist as well and get people out and about in your community walking and exercising and listening to local music, and take the lead from what we've done here with the City of St. John's. So you can find the playlist on our website, musicnl.ca, and it's the holiday trail mix. And of course, you'll see it on a sign with the QR code. So if you are out and about, you can scan it with your phone and start listening right away.
All right, calorie-free trail mix for the holidays. Now, the holiday trail list is one way to get out and about during the pandemic. Gina Keeping and Tammy King, well, they have another one. This year has certainly been difficult for a lot of people, so the Friends decided to give back to women who've been struggling during the pandemic. They organized a free retreat for those who needed it most, with limousines, massages, a shopping spree, and a much-needed weekend getaway.
So we kind of spearheaded this movement called Get Connected to give back to our community, to kind of help people who are struggling, who are finding it hard to cope during challenging times, and also to give back to women who are just putting themselves last.
Ladies started with getting connected with going on a free shopping spree with Lululemon and going out for lunch.
So these women are really amazing women, and they, a lot of them have been through their challenging times.
We all get knocked down by different parts of life and everything, and especially with COVID, and I have PTSD myself. Well, I'm actually a founder of a PTSD peer support group called Pathways to Better Days. And so I've done a lot of connecting and trying to help. I'm a veteran. This weekend was that net that just brought it all back together and gave me a leg up to now having more fuel to where I need to go next to help others.
They're going through things alone, and we really wanted to make these women feel that they're not alone, and they are perfectly enough just the way they are, and it turned out to be a beautiful thing.
Walking away knowing that they have 6 other people that, when they're having a bad day, that they can reach out to and help hold them accountable, that in itself it's very powerful.
Well, staying with the whole notion of getting connected, we've been asking for your letters home over the past several weeks, messages that you want your loved ones to hear while they're living away. There's still time to get your video in, so send those letters to lettershome@cbc.ca.
Hi, we'd like to wish a very Merry Christmas to all of our family and friends in Newfoundland and Labrador, especially my mom and dad in St. John's, my sister Rebecca in Goose Bay, and my brother Riley and his fiancée Courtney in St. John's. They're getting married on December 28th, and we wish them every happiness. We really wish we could be there. We love you all. Merry Christmas.
Well, a lot of you younger viewers very interested in the weather. Santa, of course, making the big trip tonight. What is he going to face when he enters Newfoundland and Labrador airspace? Well, let's check in with Ashley. Now, Ashley, I noticed that you've got Rudolph who'll be guiding the sleigh tonight.
Yes, I do, and we won't really need Rudolph's nose tonight, but that big guy on your tie is in for pretty nice weather as we head through the overnight tonight. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. We're seeing a beautiful evening right now. If you have some last minute shopping to do, like me, but temperatures right now, -1 for St. John's, and we've got temperatures pretty similar for most of the island, -1 in Corner Brook, and then Happy Valley Goose Bay currently sitting at -12. Now, these temperatures are going to climb as we head through the overnight tonight. Not a whole lot happening on the satellite and radar for the island, just some increasing cloud on the west coast. But we are seeing some snow move in for Lab West. That will be the story as we head through the overnight tonight towards central Labrador as well, with rainfall warnings in place. And this is because we're going to see that rain transition, or rather that snow transition to rain as we head to the early morning hours for Labrador. As you note, temperatures will be climbing, so we're sitting in the minus double digits now. Should see temperatures around 4 degrees as we see the early morning hours roll around for Lab City, with winds out of the south about 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. So whatever snow does fall will quickly transition to rain into tomorrow morning. Note these temperatures across the island as well. -3 tonight in St. John's, with winds out of the southwest 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, and then gusty for coastal areas in the west. You could see gusts upwards of about 70 kilometers per hour by through the overnight tonight. And temperature already climbing to 5 degrees for Port aux Basques, and you're going to note these temperatures are going to climb for most of us across the island into the early morning hours. So here's a look at that rain tomorrow for Labrador, extending all the way through to the coast. At this point, it's looking like Nain should stay as snow. You'll stay just north of that rain-snow line, but rain will be heavy at times, again 15 to 25 millimeters possible. So that, combined with these well above seasonal temperatures tomorrow afternoon, in some cases anywhere from 20 to 25 degrees above where we should be sitting this time of year. Not a whole lot happening across the island. It will be absolutely beautiful. A little bit of increasing cloud though, and the potential for some showers towards the evening hours for the south and the west. But other than that, nothing really on the go tomorrow, setting the stage for a beautiful Christmas day. 7 degrees in St. John's, above 0, and then about 9 degrees as you head towards the west coast. Again, winds will be a little breezy, southwesterlies 50 to 70 kilometers per hour in those exposed areas. But there are those mild temperatures up through Labrador. Like I said, 8 degrees Lab City, 9 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Even Cartwright seeing temperatures well above 0. Nain, again, you're on that cold side of that, sitting around -6. Into Saturday, hanging on to these warm temperatures again, 7 to 9 degrees. A little bit more unsettled though, with sunshine, but we could see the chance of a few showers. Happy Valley Goose Bay, 9 degrees, and then those temperatures are going to drop for Saturday night for Lab West and the north. So the showers will change over to the potential for flurries, and then they drop like a rock. So back down to -15 for Lab City. You'll see temperatures will be dropping for the rest of Labrador as well as the west coast, hanging on to those double-digit temperatures for St. John's, with some showers on Sunday, and then we see that drop in temperatures into Monday. So 0 degrees with a chance of flurries, and then back up to about 4 on Tuesday, or at least mid-single digits for Tuesday, with the potential for some showers. That should fall as flurries for both central and western Newfoundland as your temperatures hover near or just below 0 to start the beginning of next week. And then for Labrador, by Saturday, again, hanging on to those mild temperatures, and then back down for Sunday and Monday. And that will happen a little bit sooner for Lab West, sitting around -15 by Sunday, and then back into those double digits again on Monday. Wanted to share this shot, very festive in Port Saunders there. Thank you so much for sharing that photo with us. And if you have any weather photos to share with us, send to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Well, thanks, Ashley. In a week, 2020 will finally go into the history books, and it's certainly been a year that has changed so many aspects of our daily lives. But for the Sexton family, the life-altering shift happened before the coronavirus took hold here in our province. And so we're going to leave you tonight with a very special CBC documentary about that family, The documentary is called Me, Mom, and COVID. So from all of us on the Here and Now team, have a wonderful, safe Christmas. Make sure to call a cab when you need one. I'll be back here on Tuesday. Good night.
When the sun shines, there's no better place to live. The rest of the time, it's either rain, drizzle, and fog, snowing, or gale force winds that would blow the head off you. I think we cling to this rock because it is our home. And it was home for me because Mom was here. I got Mom's cards, Rena, with our little saying on it for you.
I see it.
There. Now, Mom is with you, too.
You can make me cry now.
This drives me nuts, not being able to take you out. I miss her. I miss you.
Let me tears my eyes.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Still here.
I know, I still see you, too. A half-century of our lives were spent in this house. There was chaos, but there was a lot of fun times that went along with them. My mom was Sarah Rita Sexton. She was the kindest, sweetest woman in the world. She met Edward Patrick Sexton from Tilting Greens Point, Fogo Island. After a year and a half of marriage, they had Edwina. With your firstborn, you know, there's a special bond that happens. Mom had this time just with her and Edwina. You know, they'd go out in the garden and pick flowers. As Edwina grew, Mom started to realize that she wasn't 100%. She wasn't walking, she wasn't talking, she wasn't doing the other things other babies were doing. Mom was doing the ABCs with her, trying to do the numbers with her, and Edwina was getting extremely frustrated. And Edwina cried and cried and cried. The doctors told Mom that Edwina suffered from brain damage at birth due to a lack of oxygen. They were trying to get Mom to put her into a home so that she could learn at her capability, but Mom was having no part of that. She wanted Edwina around her family, and her family was going to take care of Edwina. Simple as that. There was 5 boys and 4 girls.
Edwina is a handful. That's the first thing we would say.
One of a kind, for sure.
Edwina is the cauliflower in our jar of mustard pickles.
For a Sexton, that was a compliment.
Well, I can remember when Edwina was my big sister. And, you know, she was someone I looked up to. And then over time, I realized that I was growing up and she wasn't.
I always remember when I made my first Holy Communion at 7, Edwina came and said, "Come on, you're coming with me." And we made the rounds of the neighborhood. And I don't know where she learned this custom or where she figured it out, but we knocked on every door on Victoria and Gower Street, and Edwina go, "This is my sister. She just made her first Holy Communion," and she'd stick her hand out.
Edwina was like customs and immigration when you came home. She'd ask you where you been and what was in your bag.
She was in the window, and I was pretending that I was eating the candy out of the bag, and the next thing I saw was a fist come out through the glass window. And I said, "Jesus, okay, I'm not eating it."
And she used to have a phone book that only had phone numbers, which she could flick through the pages, and you'd say, "So, Edwina, where's Margaret Ann's number?" And she would go flick, 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 flick.
I work offshore, and when I'm home, she knows exactly when I'm gone and when I'm getting back, and she's the first one who calls me as soon as I get off the chopper.
It was madness. You know, Dad used to call us voices with mouths. That's all we did was eat and complain and pick at each other and torture each other.
It was a struggle at mealtime to get your share.
So it was a typical Irish Catholic family. If you messed up, you paid for it, but it was full of love and laughter. We used laughter as a part of our mechanism to get through some rough times that we went through.
Is your homosexual relationship approved of by your superiors?
Well, there have been difficulties, Father.
The church was a very big part of our humor, right? And so that would just drive them over the edge. Did you hear? Oh, my God. You know. But it seemed that they were very accepting of Tommy, and they loved him very much. They seemed to have a lot of time for all 9 of their children. Like, I mean, they adored Gary.
Hello?
Hello, is that you, Mom?
Where are you, Ron? I'm worried sick about you.
They put me in jail for selling a joint of marijuana.
Yeah, I've been busted with a joint, but I think what they're referring to is a little more than a joint.
How are you?
Good.
My God, Barry, what'd you have to get mixed up with them old drugs for?
Mom.
That old marijuana? If you killed someone, you'd be out by now for good behavior.
Oh, my God, my mother. She packed everybody into a camper and drove across Canada just to visit me. I'd pay good money to see what went on inside there.
Mom didn't say much. Edwina said a lot. Edwina would just continuously go, "Mom, Mom, Mom."
Mom. Well, I guess I met Edwina for the first time with Tommy doing Edwina.
What?
That was how I met Edwina first.
Do your goddamn exercises. My God, you were hard enough to understand before you got that speech impediment.
Who knows what it would be like if We tried to do those same sketches today, but there was an awful lot of love there.
Obviously, I knew her son, Tommy Sexton, who was my comedy hero growing up, and then he became a friend of mine.
There were parents who were absolutely turning against their own children because they were gay and unnatural. And Mrs. Sexton, who was a staunch Roman Catholic, never felt that way at all.
When I think of Sarah, she was the activist that Newfoundland absolutely needed at the time. I think people have a hard time understanding just how incredible the prejudice was against people with HIV and AIDS and how institutionalized it was. You're talking about the gay community in the 80s feeling like the world is crushing them and they're dying, and then you have the Catholic Church at the time who just had no time for these people, and she brought them together. The Catholic Church, they were ready, willing, and prepared to say no to any activist who came through the door. They could not say no to Sarah Sexton, probably because they thought if they said no, they could be struck by lightning.
My mom, she went up against her church and state and said, "This is my son. My church cannot tell me not to love my son, and I love my son unconditionally."
They really poked the hornet's nest when they told Mom that Tom was being punished for his activities.
Like I say, there are no magic bullets. There's only, hope. Hope springing eternal in my human breast. God, aren't those flowers pretty?
We were working together on the TV show when Tommy announced that he was sick.
We would like to dedicate tonight's show to the memory of two Canadian performers who contributed so much to the world of comedy, John Candy and Tommy Sexton.
Tommy died of AIDS in '93, and Codco was nominated for several Gemini Awards.
And the Gemini goes to Mary Walsh, Kathy Jones, Tommy Sexton.
We got Mom a ticket to go to the Geminis in Toronto.
It was planned for her to get up and do the speech, but I don't know if it was as planned that she would be so fabulous.
His peers in the gay community, I thank them for their never-ending help to Tommy. God bless you.
I sat there crying because I've never heard anybody thank the gay community for anything. She portrayed gay people as everyday, ordinary citizens. It was very powerful, very powerful.
I think it had a huge impact because she was in the papers, she did a bunch of media over it. I think it gave her the fuel to be able to come back and be the activist that she wanted to be.
I make the lap rugs for the sick people. I can picture them getting out of bed and wanting something to put over their knees to keep them warm. So I make these as often as I can, but this is a special one for the center.
I think, like everyone, I wondered what kept Sarah going for so long. I'm not the only one who thought, well, it's Edwina that keeps her going. I mean, she was a primary caregiver her entire life.
Edwina would have Mrs. Sexton's heels galled from walking right next to her, like, all the time, like, you know. And it must have been very difficult. But as Edwina got older, things gentled out. And they had a relationship like two old friends. It was really interesting to see how, after all that time, they really became really good friends, you know.
Oh, dear, dear. The duo. I can't imagine having someone dependent on me for 72 years. Her and Edwina were like Velcro. They did everything together. You know, when they'd have a sandwich, they'd split it in half. I think not knowing what was going to happen with Edwina was really playing on our mind. So we went and looked at some places, and we found one in North Pond in Torbay. And I think that that really played on Mom's heartstrings. She wanted her baby with her. So what we did was we got him so that she would do 4 days with Mom and 3 days down at North Pond to ease her into it. And as Mom started to realize that Edwina wasn't totally just leaving her, she started to relax a little more. And I think that that was when Mom started to realize, okay, she's taken care of. I've done my best. Mom had pre-bought her wake. She had 2 days in the big room at Call's, and she bought a Cadillac for her coffin. If you put wheels on it, it'd be a gorgeous car.
Premier Dwight Ball confirmed that 99 of the province's 135 COVID-19 cases are linked to Call's funeral home, making this cluster the largest outbreak in the country.
Everything was a cluster from Call's funeral home. They kept up for I don't know how long.
So I sat down through the day and I was talking to my father, and I said, this is crazy. We got to close until we figure this out. So that's what we did.
You know, this could have been us, but it wasn't us. And we were so blessed that Mom got us in and out of Call's before this actually hit.
Restoration bill for sanitizing the business is over $100,000 and not covered by insurance, a massive loss for the family business.
We had to get the place clean. I mean, it was the hot zone of where it exploded in Newfoundland. It's hard, but what do you do? I had to do it.
I'm the daughter of the gentleman who had passed away and then had the funeral at Call's funeral home. So what ended up happening was there were some people there to visit for the other funeral that came over to ours to pay respects as well, because they would spot, you know, one of my uncles or aunts or somebody that they knew and came over. The day I was leaving, I was really tired to the point where I had trouble driving to the airport and had to pull over. 2 days later, I realized I'm sick.
Of course, the daughter didn't know that she had the virus until she went back to Toronto. Then she phoned here telling us that she had the virus and she was in hospital.
To think that so many people have been exposed, including my own immediate family members and myself. But we were aware that you had to break that chain of transmission as quickly as possible. I just figured social media was the fastest way to get out that information. In the beginning, it was an outpouring of appreciation, an outpouring of gratitude, writing things like, you just probably saved my baby's lives. I had been there and now I'm gonna get tested. So it was stuff like that that was really, I knew I had done the right thing. It wasn't too long after that, my sister texted and she said, I hate people. I just wrote her back and asked her what she was talking about, and she said, you need to go look at your Facebook wall.
When I went to look at my Facebook, I had no idea what had happened, but all I saw was just so many people were just attacking, harassing, and it was escalating really quickly there.
Oh, that poor lady, yes. It wasn't her fault. But yeah, a lot of people gave her, some flack over it.
If you are aware that there's a global pandemic happening, that you think one individual in Newfoundland has caused the closure of all these things, it was closing down the world at this point in time. So why are you attacking me? One, I'm trying to keep people safe. And I know that that cluster would have been so much bigger had we not moved quickly in that moment.
And while I'm in hospital, strangers just reaching out to me through fake Facebook accounts. You brought COVID to Newfoundland. You should die with it. I hope to God you never step back on this island again, because I don't think it would be safe for you to. This has been the hardest year of my life. I was already grieving my dad, this sudden death of my father. And just to think that people would be so naive that I would have purposely brought it there if it was me. At the end of the day, there's no person on this earth would actually do it on purpose. I wanted nothing to do with any of this anymore.
We've seen this behavior before, and I don't think Mom would be able to cope with what's going on with COVID. I think this would really very much upset her. It reminds me of going back to HIV and AIDS. It's got this stigma attached to it that people are just really being unkind, and it's not showing us in a very good light.
I have to go back to around 2 o'clock. Call me and I'll get that thing. I'll see the best something about 3 o'clock. About 3. Okay, bye.
When we finally found Edwina's new home, the reason she was going there was so she could socialize, but her one rule was that we had to go visit, and we had to go visit often. And I, being her guardian, I had to go every day.
Next message. May I really come to the front entrance, okay? Okay, bye.
I couldn't say to her, this is probably not going to be over till June. Because if I said that to her, I think she would have just cracked up completely, right? Or she put her fist through the window at me or something.
Next message. Mary, 25 after 3, and I'm not sure, come to the front entrance for me. Okay, bye.
Well, I think that I started just getting frustrated by not being able to do more for Edwina.
Next message. May not come this 10 to 4. Until you should be at 3:30 for me. It's 10 to 4 now. Give me a call. Let me know when you're coming.
And, it was a time when we were all in lockdown. You were either depressed out of your mind, you couldn't actually get out of the bed, or you get out of the bed and you drink a gallon of wine. So I found that I was getting myself worked up about things that I couldn't control.
Next message. May I just try up a new course. Give me a call and give me a call when I come to bed. Okay, bye.
Mary's allegiance, I think, is to Mom. One thing about Mary, when she makes a promise, especially to my mother, she's going to go through with it. And she loves Edwina in her own way also, you know.
Did you leave me a voicemail?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No?
You didn't phone and leave a message on my machine?
I phoned your machine, and the girls in them was all pulled up.
And guess how it was all filled up? All the messages you had left on it. That's all right. I love you for it anyway. At least I got someone who loves me, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, what did your horoscope say today?
Go have pleasant dreams.
Pleasant dreams are good. I like pleasant dreams. Edwina wasn't used to being by herself. She'd never been alone. And now she was alone at this new home that she was just getting used to. You know, I had to try to keep Edwina motivated because she kept saying, do you think I'll be out for my birthday? And I said, I hope, Edwina. That's what I'm praying for. It was extremely hard for Edwina to have to celebrate her birthday in quarantine. Tears were in her eyes. But what we did was get a motorcade, and everyone came and held up signs to wish her a happy birthday, so that she did feel like the queen she usually is. It's a good day for moving along. It's a good day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are moving to Alert Level 4, the next phase of living with COVID-19 in our province.
As soon as she heard that they were letting people out, she was on the phone to me. I think I got about 18 calls. Oh, hi, Edwina. She was by herself for over 3 months in that place, not getting to do anything, basically locked in her room. Do you ever dream about her?
Sometimes I dream about her. And I'm sitting there on the bed. And when I woke up, they were gone.
Edwina never had a label to her because she looked perfectly normal. And Mom prided herself in making sure Edwina dressed herself up nice and, you know, make her feel good about herself. And Edwina, you know, to this day, my dear, she's very well turned out. What do you say to Kathy?
Thank you. You're quite welcome.
I used to take Mom and Edwina to Flat Rock Grotto pretty well every Sunday just to get them out of the house and go say the rosary. And then we'd go have ice cream. And if Mom wasn't up for it, I'd just take Edwina because Mom sometimes just needed a break from Edwina.
Makes me lonely. Makes me lonesome. I'm not much to stick with. I'm going to much to get up, right? I don't have much to stick with me. It feels right lonely. My mom's not here. I'll get used to it.
I was frightened to death when I brought her back to Ennis Avenue. And for her to see how little was left in her room. She was very nervous. She was afraid of losing her stuff. What do you, oh, look at the garden, Edwina. She said to me the next time she comes back to Ennis Avenue, she wanted a party for a good old scuff, she's called it. Surprise!
Not too hard, no? No.
Did you know that I was going to have a surprise for you? Well, it's been 4 weeks and we've had 0 cases, and I feel that it's really important to do this little bit of celebration for Edwina's homecoming.
Bye-bye, Ennis Avenue.
I like the killer hornet picture, and there's all these little black flies, and said the killer hornet didn't make it past Labrador's black flies.
It's hard to believe this place is going to be gone. Hard to believe Mom's gone. I didn't cry at first. I was kind of happy for her. And I knew that she'd be reunited with Dad and Tommy. She had eased so many people out in this world that she had gone to meet her maker. And she had nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. Edwina, she just went on to the next chapter in some ways. She has her own needs, and her needs need to be met. Mom had taken care of her for 72 years, so, you know, I guess I got the next 25. I don't mind. I love her. And she loves me.
I've been waiting